Welcome, dear friends, to Kardec Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with the Spirit of Truth. This book that has come to delight our lives. It has been 21 days today. Yes, 21 days that we've been together in this journey with several spirits, from André Luiz to Emmanuel, Eurípides Barçanufo, Hilaro Silva, Bezerra de Menezes, and many others. They inspire themselves in passages of the Gospel according to Spiritism and brought to us a expansion of it today. The message by André Luiz, and it was written 60 years ago, published in 1961. He comes inspired in the Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 3. What is chapter 3? A most important chapter because it talks about planets, life in planets. There are many dwellings in my Father's house. Do you think that we would be the only ones living in this huge universe? That would be silly on us to think that way. Of course, life comes in different forms, and only when humanity on earth is ready will be revealed about life in other planets. Right now, we're very bellicose. We are always threatened by one another. Imagine how people would feel thinking that there are beings somewhere else. Yes, there are people who are not ready. But when humanity is ready, we will be confirmed. For now, André Luiz, in item 6 of chapter 3 of the Gospel according to Spiritism, he brings to us a development of it. Let's read a little bit on the Gospel according to Spiritism. It's just a paragraph written by Kardec. He says, it's about Earth's destiny, the cause of earthly miseries. Surprised at finding on earth so much wickedness and evil passion, so many miseries and infirmities of every sort, one might come to the conclusion that the human species is a very sad thing indeed. This judgment arises from the limited point of view of those who hold it, and it gives an erroneous idea of the whole. One must remember that not all of humanity is to be found on the earth, but only a tiny fraction of it. Actually, the human species entails all beings endowed with reason who populate the innumerable worlds of the universe. Hence, what is the population of Earth when compared to the total population of all those worlds? Much less than that of a tiny village when compared to a great empire. The material and moral situation of Earth's humankind is nothing surprising considering Earth's destination and the nature of those who inhabit it. Perfect fit, right? Mars is being explored right now by Chinese rovers, by American rovers. Perseverance just landed a few days ago, and there's more to discover. What about the inner? What can we discover about ourselves? So, André Luiz is going to talk about contrasts, the development, the immensity of the universe, and yet the miseries of the earth. He says there are contrasts expressing inequalities. Many incarnate individuals want to escape human life. Do you? Do you want to escape human life? Some people do. As he says, many. Why? Because they want to go straight to a more advanced stage. But we won't go there. We don't graduate without effort, yeah, and repetition. So he says, many want to escape. However, the lines of reincarnation bring together thousands of candidates eager for rebirth. When we are here, we're shaken up. We're like, oh my gosh, we kick and scream like rebellious kids. But when we are on the other side, we dream on reincarnating, eager for rebirth. Read the book, Memoirs of a Suicide. There we see how many are looking forward to beginning anew. We talked about renewal, right? Reincarnation is about renewal, but are we renewing ourselves? Are we beginning anew? Are we creating new habits? And new habits, not necessarily for the world to see. Some people are like, oh, 21-day challenge, 30-day challenge. It's great, but it's not for the world to see. It's for us. It's when we challenge ourselves in our inner life. It's when we reincarnate to master our feelings, to master our inner security, to master our self-love, our love for God, irrespective of the environment. Legions of workers shy away from work. However, there are always multitudes of unemployed. Is he talking what kind of work? He's saying workers shy away from work. In Spiritism, the law of work, as in chapter 3 of the second part of the Spirit's book by Kardec, we come to know that we, in some way and form, need to be useful in every occupation we're engaged. But we reincarnate with a reincarnatory plan. When we come here, we don't recognize the work to be done. We think, no, that's for somebody else. That's for you. That's for you. No, but it's for you. Sometimes it's a work of a mother or father, or in a spiritist center. Some people think that by just being present and fulfilling that duty, they're done. But they haven't changed anything in them. They didn't make any sacrifice. That doesn't count. We only progress when we go beyond our limits. That's why in the Spiritist literature, it says sacrifice is imperative for progress. Sacrifice meaning pushing your boundaries, pushing your limit, breaking your own record. If we don't break our records, we will not progress. And there are people who spend a whole life reaffirming to themselves, this is who I am, this is who I am, this is who I am. No, we didn't come here to reaffirm who we've been. We reincarnated to be divine, and that's something we are to unfold, to unveil. I don't know what it is to be truly divine, but I discover when I find myself patient, resilient, loving, compassionate, tolerant, when I begin anew, when I am benevolent towards everyone, being charitable, compassionate, that's divine. And there are people who are shy of feeling that way because they think, I'm not that good. No, you are, because God made you so. It's not about you. You're a co-creator. I am a co-creator. We are co-creators. We can't be shy when God asks us to shine, the light within ourselves. We need to shine that light. Scale 0 to 10. Are you running away from being useful in every occupation? Are we? We may be engaged, but not fully in the heart. We fulfill tasks sometimes just externally, but inside we don't. And then he continues, numerous students neglect their studies. However, countless young people do not have any opportunity to access the houses of instruction, although they fervently desire it. So he has three scenarios here. He talks about living, a reincarnation, working, and studying. It's the foundation of it all. We reincarnate, we are useful, and we instruct ourselves to progress. When we go to the book Thought and Life by Emmanuel through Chico Xavier, there's a whole chapter titled Instruction. Without instruction, we cannot educate ourselves. Without knowing the new, there are people who refuse to study. And the contrast is there are people who are eager to study and they can't. These are the contrasts of life. And he does now continue with more. There are contrasts weaving contradictions. Everything proves the Creator's presence in the universe. However, there are minds full of knowledge who do not believe in divine reality. True. Minds who know much, they deny God's existence. It's a contradiction, full of intelligence, and yet knowledge, but it doesn't go that far. We can all give something in favor of others. However, many have it in abundance, but offer nothing to anyone. So true. People think, no, but I worked so hard. This is mine. This is mine. Mine. If you want your work, this is mine. And then you discarnate and the book stays here. And it's going to end up with the person that you least expect. And there are people who are upset. Attachments. What are they for? Are we attached? We have much, or we wouldn't be here together. We are already at a level, you and I, if you're listening or watching it, you're already above the average. Why? How do I know? How do we know? We know because when people have below the average, they don't have time to nourish their souls like we do. We have more responsibility, for we have conditions and resources that are above the average. Think about the billions of people on this planet that barely survive because they exist. We're still in a planet full of contrasts, and we're part of the contrast. We need to know who we are to be useful where we are. We have this almost like a cult for peace, but the vast majority forge wars within themselves. So true. We want peace, but we don't love ourselves enough, but we sabotage ourselves. And you may be asking, Vanessa, why do we sabotage ourselves? Let's go to the book, Thought in Life, chapter Guilt. In that chapter, Emmanuel through Chico Xavier explains to us the nature, the roots of sabotage, self-sabotage. We feel guilty and then we turn against ourselves. It doesn't work. We are trying to be more than God, omnipotent. So we're not coherent yet. We're still contradicting ourselves. And he continues saying there are contrasts in printing teachings. You see, he talked about contrasts that express inequalities, contrasts that weave contradictions, now contrasts in printing teachings. There are identical rights and similar duties, but there are different desires, diverse experiences, and unequal merits. The charity most hidden from humanity is the one that is best known to God. Human life is an imperfect copy of the spiritual life, but the perfection of the great discarnate souls on earth was acquired in the rough soil of the planet. When we want to progress in escape mechanisms, we don't progress. We progress when we learn to stay put and work where we are. We can't run away from who we are. Sometimes we have this illusion. If I go to the beach now, I'm going to feel better. But you are carrying yourself. Oh, Vanessa, but come on, it's just a different scenario. It's a salty water. It's just a different environment, yes, but essentially we're the same. If you spend a month at the beach, 2 months or a year, you'll find yourself back again. The nature, our own nature, who we are. So we can't escape. So how do you and do we deal with these inner contradictions, the contrasts within ourselves? André Luiz is saying, by working diligently with all the love in our hearts here on earth. Every occasion is an occasion to be more understanding, sometimes quietly. Because some people, they're expecting that we're going to babysit them, that the proof of love is like rocking them like a baby. No, we're not here to be entertainers. Jesus wasn't an entertainer. Jesus is the model. He was never a babysitter. He never carried anyone in his arms in the sense of trying to do for us what we have to do for ourselves. But we need to love. I remember a wonderful therapist saying, sometimes we have so much narcissism. We're so omnipotent. We think, right? We're omnipotent. That we have this illusion that we're going to fix everybody's lives, that we're going to control everything. Then we discover that just by being a loving presence, we fulfill our share in creation. So this is going to be the exercise you and I are going to practice in the next 24 hours. Being a loving presence. It's, it's being near people or around or even far, but being present. It's when I am quiet in my bedroom in the middle of the night and I recall a brother of mine, a sister of mine in humanity. And I quietly become this loving presence, emanating good thoughts to them, visualizing good spirits with them, Jesus with them, true loving emissions, emanations. It's when we are near somebody or people and we don't say a word, but we are at peace. We're not insecure. We're not feeling this, that, and the other. We're just emanating love. You know that presence? When people don't need to talk to you to reassure of your presence all the time, because there are people who are like this, they're so needy that you need to reassure them that you were there with them, that it's constantly there. It's suffocating. Relationships don't work that way. It's not healthy. So teaching our children that boundary where you and I are together, but we don't need to be symbiotically together. We don't need to be expecting that people are going to be reassuring us anything. We become a loving presence. How? By having good thoughts and good feelings towards that person, the people in our life. Let us practice this way of when the world is lacking love and we're filling it up with love. I will share my screen just to do a little drawing to exemplify the presence of love. Okay? This is it. The presence of love. Let me just do it with pink. Yeah. And here it is. Let's say somebody's here and it's all blank. It's as if the space energetically is absorbing love and I am emanating love. Loving presence, emanating good thoughts, good feelings, good words, good actions. It's what we call the exercise of my loving presence. It can be silent, quiet. It doesn't require much. And when we least expect without words, just like Jesus, the environment is filled with loving bubbles that come from our thoughts, from our feelings, from our words, from our actions. Loving feelings. Imagine when everybody does that. We no longer will wait. No longer. We'll no longer be waiting for people to reassure us. We'll no longer be insecure. We will share our security. We will share the divine in us. And that fulfills us. We read the world of its contrasts and become a planet so happy the way it's going to be one day. We're looking forward to that day, but we're building that today. You and I visualizing our loving presence in this planet. Friends, let us thank Luiz. Thank you, Luiz, for this message, the Gospel According to Spiritism, Chico, Xavier, Waldo, Vieira, for this wonderful reminder of the need to add from us right here, right now, as we are incarnated. We wish you, dear friends, many blessings. And let us stay tuned because Kardec created it has more to nourish our souls, and because the Spirit of the Truth continues tomorrow. Thank you, friends.